Hey folks, welcome back. I'm Dave and we're here in my shop where I build E-War guitars. Well, I'm finally doing it. I'm finally going to get going on my GGBO 2022 entry into the competition. I'm joining up in the scratch build competition. I know I'm kind of behind. I've been watching all the other videos and I see a lot of absolutely beautiful guitars being made, and a lot of these guys are way out ahead of me. And it's time for me to get rolling. I've been working on another series, which I'll show you right now, because I'm going to kind of keep both of them going at the same time. I'm going to be doing videos on the GGBO guitar, and I'm also going to be finishing up this other one, which if you'd watched, if you'd been following along in that video series, you'll know that in the last video I kind of screwed up the buffing on this thing, and I had to sand the whole thing back down and repaint it, and I just wanted to show you. I got it repainted and I've got it rebuffed out, and it really looks awesome. I'm really thrilled with the way it's coming out. I'm even trying some gold hardware on there. I think that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So my goal is to fit some of the final couple of videos of this guitar in between the GGBO series I'm going to start. And that is if my brain could work on two different things at one time, which I'm not so sure. But anyway, that's going to be my goal. But for now, let's turn the camera down and start looking at the design I've got going here for the GGBO. So yeah, this is the design right here. I drew this on Adobe Illustrator. It's going to be a neck through design, which is something I've never done before, and I like kind of trying new things on these competition videos. I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a 25-inch scale length, 22 frets. I'm going to be doing a tilt back headstock, so it's going to tilt back at 14 degrees. And this is a headstock design that I came up with a couple guitars ago, and I kind of think it looks cool. It's got almost a straight string pull through the tuners down through the nut. Almost. It's not perfectly straight string pull, but it's pretty close. And it gives me room for my little logo going up here. I'm going to do the tapered stripes like I always do. I think it's going to look really cool. I love doing those. And I think that's going to look great with those stripes going all the way through the body, front and back. I think it's going to look really nice. So yeah, so it's going to have two humbuckers. I'm probably going to wind them myself. A hip shot bridge, a string through bridge. It's going to have the two volumes and two tones, just like a Gibson Les Paul. And I'm going to put the switch up here in the upper bout, I believe. And yeah, so the neck is basically the neck I've done before. I just made it longer basically to make it a string through. And I designed the body. Now, body design to me, if you get too far away from like kind of the accepted proportions of guitars that we're used to seeing, I think they can get looking pretty weird pretty quickly. So what I basically did was I started with a telly body, and I drew that in there first in the computer first, and then I started just tweaking on it a little bit, because you don't have to change things too much to get a very, very different design. So that's what I did. So I pulled in a drawing of a telly, I traced it out, and then I started moving stuff around. You can see I made these horns pointier, and of course made this one longer, kind of more like a Strat design. And I rounded the bottom. You know, tellies, they kind of come down, they come across flat. And I made this a tiny bit wider here at this the bottom end. I made it just a little bit wider, not much, maybe a 1/4 inch on either side. And as you can see, you make them a couple little tweaks to the thing, and it's an entirely different design. But yet it still fits within, you know, what I would consider, you know, pleasing proportions for an electric guitar. So I've also got, I've got the edges are going to be beveled. You can see that this one starts at a narrow bevel and gets wider down to here, and it's going to end up at the end of the neck. And this one starts a little over here, and it's going to bevel up here. And I'm doing that because I'm going to actually laminate. The center of this guitar is going to have one body of wood for the center inch, and then it's going to have a top and bottom on it, separated by several layers of veneer. And so I think when I cut through this, I'm going to expose those veneers and that, you know, the light top. And I'll show you the wood here in a second. It's going to have a light colored maple top, and it's going to have a wenge center, and then it's going to have these cool looking veneers going through the middle. And I think that's going to look pretty cool. I did, of course, a neck, a wrist relief over here, and I kind of copied it over here too to fit this horn on this neck. And so we're going to be able to see a little of that veneer coming through there too. And I think that's going to look pretty cool. So this guitar, I am going to use my CNC machine to cut out all the parts of this thing. And if you've watched my most recent series, you will know that I am brand new to CNC machines. As a matter of fact, that guitar I showed you at the beginning of this video is the first CNC guitar I ever made. And this here will be number 2. So as part of my design, I've also been working on creating the tool paths that it's going to take to cut out all the various parts and drill the holes and mill the pockets and all that type of thing. And so what I did was I drew the guitar first, as I said, in Adobe Illustrator, and I pulled it over to Vectric V-Carve. And in V-Carve is where you start designing your tool paths and how you're going to go about doing it. And so in doing that, I also started making myself a list, kind of a little reference list here. So as I start cutting out the parts, I will know what the heck each G code is going to do, because it involves lots of different things. And so I thought that little list would be a good reference material for me to use while I'm making it. So since also this is a brand new guitar, brand new design, and brand new tool paths I created, I also wanted to mock up some pieces. So I went ahead and I mocked up the neck, which you can see it's a full 1 3/4 inch thick. I didn't bother going and cutting it down, which I'll do all that by hand anyway. I'm really just trying to mock up all the CNC work. So I've got the headstock in there and tuners drilled and all that type of thing. And so I've got that on the neck, and I've also gone through and I made both halves of the body. This is the base side of the body. So I've got my control cavity cut in there, control cavity cover hole. I've got that made up, and I've also done the treble side as well. So you can see here I've got the belly carve cut in it. I've got these contours cut in the front, which I did all with the CNC machine too. And this also gave me opportunity to see what this thing's going to look like when it's all done, because oftentimes a guitar on paper will look very different than the one that you actually make. And so I wanted to make sure I liked it before I started hacking up a bunch of really nice wood. So, and I do like it. I like the shape of it. I think it feels good. I think it's proportionally good. So I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, and we'll go through all this, all these components I'm making here. We'll go through all that on the CNC machine as I'm going through this little series. I just wanted to give you all kind of a catch up to where I'm at now, because I've been working on this behind the scenes. So anyway, well, let me get all this stuff out of here. Let me pull out the wood, and we'll talk a little bit about the wood I'm going to use in this guitar. Okay, so for the front and the back of the guitar body, I'm going to use this really awesome, let me see if I can catch it in the camera. I got some quilted maple here. This is a Western big leaf maple, and it's just got some spectacular quilt to it. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to split this down the middle. I'm going to book match the front, and I'm going to book match the bottom. Even though they're not going to touch together because the neck is going all the way through, it's still going to have similar grain on either side of the front and of the back. So that's going to be the top and the back, and I think that's going to look great. And so sandwiched in between, so I'm basically going to have a 1/4 inch top and a 1/4 inch back, and sandwiched in between is going to be this chunk of wenge right here. Now, I haven't got it milled up or anything yet, but I could tell by looking at the end that that's got some super straight grain going through it. And I think it's going to look really awesome. So I'll wind up cutting this down to about 1 inch thick, maybe a little more than 1 inch thick. And that's going to be kind of the core of the body. And what I'm going to do, I'm also going to chamber each side, because this stuff is heavy as could be. And so in between the wenge and the quilted maple, I'm going to laminate some different veneers in there, and they're going to go, it's going to be a light dark thing, and I'm going to use the light veneer is going to be maple, and the dark veneer is going to be, this is a piece of bloodwood, which it doesn't look it here, but once that gets cleaned up, that gets really nice and red, and it's a really cool looking wood. I've used this on a couple guitars before, and it's really great looking stuff. So that's going to be sandwiched in between, and I think when I do all those contours on the front and the back, do the belly carve in the back, you're going to see all those coming through on the front. You're also going to see it on the edge of the guitar too, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. And I'm also going to use the wenge for the neck. Like I said, I'm going to do a striped neck. I'm going to do 2 tapered stripes of the bloodwood with sandwiched with maple veneer on either side of that. And then so the main bulk of the neck is going to be the dark wenge too, with the 2 red stripes going through it. And I think it's going to look great. So that's it. That's the design, the method I'm going to use to make it, and the cool wood I'm going to use to make it with too. So I really can't wait to get making some sawdust with this thing and seeing how it really comes out, because I'm never quite sure at this stage, you know, even though I did all the mock-ups and everything, until you start seeing it come together with all the different color woods and all that kind of thing, seeing the hardware going on, I'm really never quite sure. So anyway, I hope you all dig it. I hope you come with me on this little journey of mine. I'm going to enjoy doing it, I know, because I love building guitars. And I hope you all come back and check it out and watch me make some sawdust. Anyway, God bless you, and we'll see you all in the next one.